Hey guys, this is Crypto Spook,
And this is Moriarty.
and today we're bringing you a game called
Battlefield VR.
more like CSGO VR.
You mean Call of Duty VR?
Not at all Call of Duty like. There are no jetpacks.
Titanfall VR.
Nope. If anything, CSGO is the closest, because the aiming is really hard in this game. It's like real life.
Are you suggesting it's hard to aim in real life?
No, I'm saying it is accurate, like you would have to aim the gun like you would in real life. Very easy to get your sights misaligned, which doesn't happen often in video games.
I don't think it ever happens.
No, so for instance, like if you're holding a pistol and you bring the pistol up to look down the sights, you actually have to pay attention to them. There's, the two rear posts and the one middle post, and you have to get the spacing on the post right and the height across the top of them the same, otherwise you're gonna miss. So you actually have to know how this game will teach you how to accurately shoot weapons if you know what you're doing.
Not how to actually shoot a weapon, though. Let's clarify that. This is not a murder simulator.
No, it's obviously not a murder simulator.
Let's be clear, Congress, this is not a murder simulator. We're not saying that.
This is a soldier simulator. This is how you train military.
Oh God, it's a war simulator. No, you've ruined it. You've ruined it. They heard everything.
It's a really, really fun and accurate game. You have a radio on your chest that you have to reach up and grab with your controller so you can talk into the mic. Otherwise, there is positional audio, and the people around you will be able to hear what you say. But if they're too far away, they won't hear it. So you might have to talk on your radio. The other problem with that is that the enemy team can talk out loud too. And in fact, they fooled me one time with that. I was in a building holding it down. I was on defense. I called out on the radio. I said, hey, I think I got one guy near my building. And he said, no, I'm friendly. And then he came around the corner and shot me. He was not friendly. It was terrible.
That's funny. That's good. You can actually trick out people. That's cool.
You totally can. It blew my mind.
Can't do that in CSGO.
No, you can't. On top of that, friendly fire is always on, so you can shoot your buddy. If you don't pay attention to what uniform your friends are wearing, you very may well kill your whole team.
Crypto Spook, I know you streamed this the other day, and I did watch that. Well, part of it. Admittedly, you're incredibly boring to watch. I did like everything I saw. I'm concerned, as I know you know I am, about D-pad movement in VR and being made ill from the locomotion.
So, the locomotion in this game, some people could complain about. I didn't hear anybody that I was playing with say that it bothered them. And my theory for why that is because it's very slow. The locomotion is slow, you're kind of plodding, like you feel like you should go faster, but you don't. And it's actually important that you don't, because like if you have your weapon up and held up in front of you for you to look down the scope, then that will slow you down. And if you have it down at the low ready, which is like, kind of pointed at the ground a little bit, you move faster. But even at the fastest speed, it's still not that fast.
So what is this iPad thing you keep pulling out?
This is like a tactical map, I guess?
So it's an IFF system?
I think so. It is identify friend and foe. What you basically do is it tells you where the objective is. So if you're the attacker, it'll tell you which direction you need to go. It also has a compass on it, which is very important, because otherwise it's really hard to tell your team where people are. And a lot of people don't even know what the compass is. So I'll call out directions. I'll say, hey, I got a guy at 330 degrees from my position. It also gives you the position of any spotted enemies. So if somebody else sees him, they'll show up as a red guy. Another thing it'll do is tell you how many of your team's up, because you will always have a green dot for anybody on your team that's alive.
Now, I know you just said objectives, but in every game that I watched, you just won by killing everybody.
Yeah. I've never seen the game won by people completing the objective. I'm not saying it's impossible to do that. I will say that it's very difficult. People are super hesitant to do anything in this game that's going to put them out in the open. And when you're on defense, you just camp. And it's really hard for the enemy team to win by taking the objective because you're camping.
If you were to make a suggestion, would it possibly be that they need to have something that forces you to move?
No, I don't think so, because that wouldn't be very lifelike and realistic. I would say that I don't even know what to do when I get to the objective. I was probably one of the only people. I made it close to the objective, and I was like, okay, I think I pull out my tablet here and do something, but I don't know.
So you're suggesting that this is supposed to be so realistic that they can't introduce gamification?
They can, but I'm not sure what they would do. Like I said, I don't even know how to trigger the objective, so I can't really say, this is what they should change.
What if they were to introduce a 3-on-5, 3 defender, 5 attacker, but the attackers have to move forward for whatever reason, you know?
So like a fog of war type thing.
Something that takes out the stalemate portion, because every game you notice is just 4-on-4 camping while they try to catch anybody who's out in the open.
The other problem that I see with this is that veteran players know all the spawn points. So they will begin and know exactly where the enemy team's going to be based on their spawn point. So they definitely need to mix up the spawn points some and make it so that it's easier to not get immediately shot.
So a little bit more randomization in the spawn points, perhaps some sort of movement motivator, something that encourages players to actually get out there and not just camp houses sniping looking for someone.
That might help. I don't know how they would implement it, though.
I'm not a developer. It's not my job to do that. I'm just saying I see this as a problem.
It certainly is a problem. You're right there. I believe the round is 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Which does not seem like a long time. And when you're in the game, it's absolutely not a long time. Like, these rounds are over in a flash. Because this stuff is all happening around you like in real life. You feel like you're in a desert landscape trying to get down there and blow up this objective. The problem with that is that if you die early, then it is a really long time. You just sit there in this little spawn room where you pick out your weapons and just watch, and you can see what the other people are doing. Very boring, very boring. If I was going to change something, it would absolutely be that. You need to make it so that when I'm in that room waiting for my next map, I can do something, like play with guns and practice shooting and practice loading weapons. Give me something to do there. You've already got all the mechanics in the game, just give me access to them, you know?
Maybe a commander mode?
That could be useful. Yeah, like maybe like you could like control the stuff that your team wants. Like, I don't know, maybe an airstrike or a satellite or a UAV, something like that. That would be very useful.
Something for people who are dead and are sitting in the spawn for 6 minutes because they got sniped by a veteran player in the first 30 seconds.
The sound quality in this game is excellent. It is perfect. But there were some times where I had an issue of figuring out exactly where a shot came from or where the footsteps I was hearing were. I couldn't quite tell. I mean, I feel like the 360-degree audio design could probably use a little bit of tweaking. Other than that, the competitive mode of the game is wonderful.
One of the issues that I have, this is perhaps something that will sound blasphemous to anybody who plays this game a lot. I would actually like for them to take away just a little bit of the realism and make some of the player characters a little bit more pronounced. And the reasoning for that, my reasoning for that, is the fact that you're in a Vive, which is essentially a low-res phone screen. These character models, which are black on black in a black room with a shadow and it's covered in black, you cannot see them. Having it a little bit more well-defined, even if it is slightly less realistic, will improve the gameplay, I think.
I would agree with that. I played some night vision, a mode where, you know, it's a pitch black night out, and you're trying to go and defuse the objective or blow up the objective, whatever it is you're actually supposed to do, which I don't know. You couldn't tell who was on your team because everybody, even with your night vision goggles, you couldn't tell who was on whose team.
Because they just all look black.
They all look black, yep.
Unfortunately, I appreciate it. It's realistic, and let's face it, realism's cool. You gotta improve the gamification portions of it, though.
And there's just so many places where enemies could be hiding, and you can't jump over stuff. That if you got yourself, you know, in the wrong place, then there's no way you're going to be able to get to the objective in time.
I did notice, again, during your stream, that you got stuck on a flower pot.
I did. I got stuck on a flower. My guy cannot jump at all.
So you think that they should add in some clip brushing at the very least?
At the very least. Make it so I can walk over a flower pot, for Christ's sakes.
So we add in some clip brushing. We improve the death lobby because, quite frankly, it's boring.
Right here. This is boring. This is all that it is. This is the entire death lobby that you're looking at. There's a couple guns you can pick up and look at, but very boring. So one thing that's completely unrelated to this game is I put a little piece of cloth over the microphone on my Vive, and it was a huge improvement over the stock microphone. The stock microphone is a little tiny hole on the nose piece. I guess if you're looking at the bottom of the headset, it's right in front of the nose. There's a tiny hole. Just tape a little piece of cloth over it, and it acts as a pop filter. Makes it so that you're not, you know, heavy breathing into the mic the whole time. I'm sure your teammates appreciate it, even if they have no idea you've done it. I know I appreciate it because if I want to use that microphone to talk to people, I'm not, you know, heavy breathing because the game often makes you get up and move and lay on the ground and jump up real fast and dodge and weave. So I could see how annoying that would be.
So you're suggesting that it requires you to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge?
Yes, let's go dodgeball. So another aspect of the game that I thought was kind of neat is that you have to load your weapons, and every weapon has a different way to reload it, and it's not you just hit a button and it reloads. You have to manually reload all of your weapons. Sometimes, even after you've properly loaded your weapon, the belt for your light machine gun will come out of its own accord. You try to shoot somebody in the face, and all you hear is a click, and that's probably the worst thing you can hear. It's just, hey, I'm going to kill you. Nope, I'm going to get shot instead. I don't think that that's an intentional game mechanic. I think that's a glitch, especially if you've loaded it. I do appreciate the fact that you do have to load your own clips. Each gun has a different way of loading the clip, just like in real life.
And that's cool. That is cool. I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. You know, there may be certain guns that you decide to gravitate towards simply because it works for you better. And that's awesome. That's super cool. I have a major problem with realism for realism's sake. I think that if you, and this is probably my issue with the uniforms and everything being brown, this is a Quake brown game with Quake brown characters and Quake brown lighting. It makes it muddled, makes it ugly.
That's the whole idea of camouflage, man.
And I get it, but we're talking about a headset that is essentially a low-resolution phone screen attached to your face. We're talking about a game. You know, I'm okay with it being realistic because it's fun. I'm not okay with it being realistic for no reason at all.
That is a legitimate statement.
The radios is really cool. That's cool. You reach up, you know, that's immersive. The guns reloading, that's cool. That's immersive. Having these really big things and you know, dying you're done, that's cool. That's immersive. It encourages you to be good at the game. I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with just saying, okay, well, this is how that thing actually works in real life, so let's do it that way. It's got to be a game first, and I think that's important to remember, especially when we're talking about what has been called a milsim by most of the community. It's still got to be a game first. This is the same problem that a lot of people had with Arma.
I would say that that's only you that has that problem with Arma.
It is not only me, and I can guarantee you that.
I'm sure it's not, but Moriarty and I have had argument after argument about come play Arma, and he tried Arma too. Then he was like, never again.
Never again. And that's the thing. I'm playing a game to play a game. I'm not playing a game where I have to spend 25 minutes getting to the front lines just so that I can be shot by a sniper and have to spend 25 minutes getting back to the front line. That's not fun to me. That's not a good time. And there's a reason why Arma is not Call of Duty. There's a reason why Call of Duty has you jumping through buildings and shooting a guy 19 times with a high caliber assault rifle. Because that's more fun. And if Onward wants to be the game that people go to, because it could be, it's cool. If Onward wants to be the game that people go to, they've got to fix the little problems. They have to make it fun first. That's always got to be the priority, is fun first.
Now, I'm going to disagree here because the game is fun in its current state.
It needs to start thinking about how can we make it so that people aren't camping, because camping's not fun. It needs to be thinking about what are we going to do in the death lobbies, because standing there staring at a death lobby screen is not fun. It's got to be thinking about, is this super realistic aspect of the game making everything dirty, dirty brown? Is that fun? If they pivot to that fun first mentality, I think you'll see a really, really cool VR game. Probably the best VR game there is out there, if they can start thinking that way first.
So I understand what you're saying there. I understand your concerns. They are valid. I'm not sure how far they should stray from reality in what they've done. I like it, and maybe I like it so much because I'm a veteran. This is all familiar to me. This feels like home, you know? The guy did a lot of things right, in my opinion. Now, I will say that the person that developed this is Downpour Studios. They're based out of North Carolina. I believe it is one man that created this entire game and sold it and everything. Didn't do any advertising or anything for it, just made the game, and I believe it's sold pretty well so far.
And it's a cool game.
It is. It's considered one of the best games for Vive for you to have.
To be fair, though, there's not a whole lot of great games on the Vive yet.
That's a good point. No, I just noticed something. The bullets don't move in the magazine when you're firing. That's probably good. That'd be very distracting.
But it'd be more realistic.
It would be more realistic. Realism is important.
Fun is more important.
Fun is important.
Overwatch isn't realistic. Overwatch is fun.
It's really fun. Okay, guys, so that is Onward, and it is an absolute blast to play. I would only say that it could be more fun if I had people to play it with. I've bought a copy for War Owl. He has yet to play it with me. Very sad about that.
Be sure to tweet him and say, hey, play with Crime War.
Everybody blow up War Owl's Twitch feed and say, hey, play Onward with Crypto Spook.
If you like it, like it. If you didn't like it, don't like it. Be sure to subscribe for more. Leave a comment to join the weekly comment contest. Don't forget to check out the Patreon.
And we'll see you on the next one.